The cost of living in the Tampa Bay, St. Petersburg, Clearwater area. Hey everybody, it's Brett Watkins with LPT Realty. What's it going to cost me to buy a house? That's going to depend on a handful of things. What do you want? Do you want a single family home? Do you want a condo on the beach? Do you want a trailer, a mobile home with a bunch of land? Do you want a house with a bunch of land? Do you want a farm? Do you want, what do you want? That's going to determine obviously how much the price is. And I get this question all the time. And it starts off with, hey, Brett, can I get, and I kind of stop everybody right there because here's the deal. In Florida, in the Tampa Bay area, if you're willing to compromise with maybe your drive or the price, you can get anything that your heart desires. I've sold acres of horse property. I've sold condos on the beach. Whatever you want is available to you if you're willing to A, pay the price, and B, maybe travel a little bit, maybe have a little distance between you and the actual city. To make an overall generalized statement, what are most families looking for that are moving here? Whether it be from out of state or just moving within the Tampa Bay area, what are we looking at? It's typically 3 or 4 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, 1 or 2 car garage, and depending on what sort of amenities. And what are we looking at price-wise for that? Again, very much depending on your location. The suburbs of Tampa, not within the city limits, you're looking 300,000 to 500,000. That's a pretty big stretch. That's a $200,000 stretch. Location. All of that is going to matter, and it's going to help to determine how much you pay, what your amenities are, if any, and what your commute time is into the city, if that's where your job is going to be located or if that's what you have to do. That's a very ballpark figure. What we would do, if I sat down with you, we would obviously narrow that down and find out what fits your budget. First thing out of the gate, what's a house going to run me? The median house in the city of Tampa, you're looking $450, $480 for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, maybe a 4-bedroom, 2-bath. What are my property taxes going to be like in Tampa? Again, this varies to a certain degree. Property taxes in the state of Florida in general are in the middle of the road as compared to the other, states. We're ranked depending on what survey or what website you go on. We're ranked around 24th, 25th. For property taxes. Typically, a good gauge is 1% of assessed value. And that's what you're looking at. I'm not going to dive real deep into it. But, on a $300,000 house, you'd probably be looking about $3,000 in taxes, roughly speaking. And assuming that's the assessed value. Something that's very common down here in Florida, something that you need to keep aware of. Many of the communities here in the Tampa Bay area have homeowners associations. So HOA fees come into play. Those can vary greatly. I've seen association fees for as little as $40 a month. I've seen them as high as $500 and $600 a month. Why? Why are they so different? $40, $50 a month. They probably have a sign out in front of the neighborhood and they keep the trees trimmed and the medians and the grass cut, and that's about it. When you get into the higher price range for the HOA, you're going to have amenities. Maybe there's a golf course that you have privileges to, swimming pools, playgrounds, gym, those sort of things. When you get into the high, that $500 a month, there's definitely going to be a golf course or something like that involved. Typical HOA with a swimming pool, a gym, and some nice amenities around the neighborhood, probably going to cost you $75, $100. Again, very much depending on location and what you're looking for. But keep that in mind. That's typically a monthly fee that you're going to have to pay. What else do we have down here that you have to consider? Community Development District. They're called CDDs. It's a fee that is part of your taxes. So I'm not going to dig real deep into this either. The basis of it is when they build a new community, somebody comes in, a developer and or the city or whoever, they level the land, get it all prepared, put the streets and the sewers in and all that. It's all ready for the builders to come build house. And, they want their money back and then some for all of that. Well, the builders aren't going to pay it. The builders typically pass that along to the new homeowners. And it comes in form of a CDD fee is what it's called. It's attached to your taxes. It lasts generally 20 to 30 years. And so, if you were going to buy your house, it's your forever house and you're going to live there for the next 30 years, you will have that CDD fee and probably until your house is paid. And then some. CDD fees never entirely go away. Once the bond is paid off, then there's a maintenance fee for them to keep up with everything that's still attached. All right, what does all that mean now that you've confused me, Brett, right? CDD fee, it's attached to your taxes, and it can be as much as a couple $1,000s onto your tax bill. Again, very much varies depending on the neighborhood and the location. Not all new neighborhoods have it, but many do. So you want to ask your real estate agent, is there an HOA fee? Is there a CDD fee? How much? Because that's going to be, the CDD will be on your tax bill, your HOA fees, you'll pay directly to them, but it'll be part of your monthly budget. Property taxes, CDD fees, HOAs, boom, that's it right off the top. And how much is my house going to cost? How much is my homeowners insurance going to cost me? The homeowners insurance industry in Florida there's no way to sugarcoat it. It's been a mess here for the last few years. Prices of homeowners insurance have gone up. They had pushed a lot of the companies left the state of Florida. The government passed a handful of laws a year or so ago, and they're now we're starting to see some of the fruits of it. I am not an insurance agent. So again, I'm not going to dig real deep into this. The good news is there's more companies coming back into Florida, which gives us competition, which will hopefully help the rates at some point in the future. Homeowners insurance, depending on the value of your house and very much depending on the location, can run you anywhere from $1,500 for the year to $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000 for the year. In addition to your homeowner's insurance, you may be required to carry flood insurance. If you're in a flood zone here in Florida, which is determined by FEMA, they have a national map that they determine whether your house is in a flood zone or not. And they designate the flood zones with a letter designation, and that basically tells them what's the likelihood of your place getting flooded within the next 100 years. Somehow they calculate insurance premiums from that. And again, I'm not going to dig into that. I let the insurance people do their job. To make it simple, if you're buying something near the water, you're probably going to need flood insurance. And if you're near the coast, where potentially a tropical storm or something could blow in, it's going to be higher. It's just that simple. The closer you are to the water, the higher the premium's going to be, more than likely. Change the subject a little bit. There is no state income tax here in Florida. Now, that's probably not, if you live in Florida, that's obviously not a surprise to you. If you're coming from out of state or out of the country, that may be a huge benefit for you. Obviously, the more money you make, the more benefit that is. There's a lot of corporations, a lot of big shots moving here to the Tampa Bay area and to Florida in general for the tax benefits. What about utilities? How much is all that going to cost me? If you're coming from up north, you're used to paying for water and gas and electric and all that other stuff that you got up there. You've got all the same things down here. It's not any different. But just to give you a rough idea, electric bill is going to more than likely be, not more than likely, it's going to be your highest utility bill. Your air conditioner is going to run probably 7 months out of the year. And I'm not going to get into the weather a whole lot, but let's just from end of May, beginning of June, all the way until the end of September, it's pretty warm. You're gonna run your air conditioner. Come October, November, December, we start getting a break until about March, April, more like April and May. It starts getting cranked up again. If you're like me, if you come down here from up north, it may take you a couple of years because if it's 82 degrees at Christmas time, you still might be running your air conditioner the first couple of years. So anyway, electric bill is going to be your biggest bill that you have. And my bill averages, anywhere between in the off season about $125 a month. In the middle of August, it's about $250, or so dollars a month. They have programs where you can average your bill out for the entire year and pay the same amount consistently. If that works for your budget better, I know a lot of folks that do that. It just sort of takes the pressure off of, I got all these low bills for 6 months and then boom, my bill jumps $100. There is gas available in some of the newer communities here. If you're a chef and you like to cook, you probably want a gas stove. If you're used to cooking on a gas stove and that's what you've cooked on all your life, electric stove may not thrill you. There is gas available in a lot of the newer communities. If you happen to buy a home and there is no gas connection, you can still get yourself a gas stove. You call the gas company up and they will come out to your house and they will put a tank in your yard. And in a lot of cases, if you have an HOA, you have to bury the tank in the yard. But they will run it in through and you can still have your gas stove. So a lot of folks don't know that. And they come down here and they just think, oh my gosh, I'm stuck with an electric stove. I hate it. Not necessarily the case. Your water bill, that can be pricey here in Florida. If you like to keep your lawn up, if you like it to be green and beautiful, all year round, you're going to need an irrigation system for your lawn, or you're going to be standing out there with a hose. But most folks put an irrigation system in, and many homes already have one in place. And depending on where the water comes from to water your grass is going to make a big difference in how much your water bill is. If that's coming from the city or the county, then you're paying for that. And your water bill during the dry season or winter time basically is going to be more expensive. Many communities here have reclaimed water, and or some communities and some places in Florida, they still have wells on the property, and you can use that to water your lawns. Really going to depend on where the water's coming from. And let's also not forget, it's Florida. Lots of folks have swimming pools. And if you need to, for whatever reason, repair your swimming pool and you have to drain it and refill it, if you're on county or city water and you're filling your pool up, expect a nice big bill that month. So internet and cable, plenty of it. Probably not going to cost any more than it does anywhere else. The basic ones here in the Tampa Bay area are Frontier and Spectrum. If you get out if you call me up and you say, hey, Brett, I want one of those horse properties with a bunch of acreage and I want to be away from it all. You can still get internet and cable. There's companies that do it, satellite and all that kind of thing. Next big thing is transportation. How much is that going to cost me, Brett? I take the bus everywhere up here, wherever you're from. I take the subway. I take the train. You're not doing any of that here. You're going to want a car. You're going to need a car. I'm not saying that you can't survive with public transportation here. It's doable. And I know that from personal experience. When I first moved here, I was 20-something. I had a situation where my car died on me and I was taking the bus. You can do it. It is not fun. It's not like big cities where you go out to the bus stop and the bus pulls up every 5 minutes or so. You got to check the schedule. You got to plan your life. You may be if you got to go the other side of town or from Tampa to say Clearwater, you're taking a couple of buses and it's going to be an event. Plan on, you're going to need a vehicle to get around Tampa Bay. And so with that, you've got to take into consideration, all right, how much is it going to cost me in gas? The gas prices here are, very comparable with national averages. If you hear the prices of gas in places like California, it's crazy. We're very much along the lines of the national average. This is October 9th, 2023. I just filled up and it was $3.50 a gallon. Other question I get, I'm moving here. It's me and my husband and my two small kids. What about childcare? It's expensive, period. I don't care where you live. From the statistics I pulled and I looked at, childcare in Tampa Bay area is going to cost you $600 to $700, depending on the age and the services. And for infants, it may be even more. Figure $600, $700 a kid. From what I understand, if you have two children, some places will cut you a break, give you some kind of discount. They won't give you 2 for 1, but they'll give you some kind of a break if you have 2 kids. Some of them. Plenty of options available to you, whether it's before school, after school, all day long. It's all here and available to you. Lastly, I'll go over something that's a little more fun because I know this isn't the most fun video I've ever shot. But what if you're coming here and you're just retired and, hey, man, I just want to go have some fun? There's a ton of it. I don't care what you want, golf courses, amusement parks, pickleball tournaments, festivals, and there are also plenty of free things, surprisingly. Of course, there's always the beaches, not entirely free, because if you have to park and all that, plan on spending a few bucks. We've got all the major league teams here, baseball, Tampa Bay Rays, who ironically play in St. Petersburg across the bridge. The Buccaneers for football. There's a soccer team here, the Rowdies. The Tampa Bay Lightning is the hockey team. So plenty of that to do, all varying prices, of course. NFL's it's expensive. I don't care where you live to go see a game. That's a very broad and I know this is a long video, but that gives you a good idea of, all right, how much is this all going to run me? What am I getting into? What do I have to think about when you get here or before you get here? Give me a call, shoot me a text, shoot me an email. I will be glad to give you one-on-one attention and help you make this move as smooth as possible. If you do live here in the Tampa Bay area or surrounding area and you just need to move from here to here, awesome. I can help you out with all that too. I'll be looking for you guys on the next video. Again, click subscribe, hit the bell to get new content, and all my information will be below. And we'll see you guys on the next.